Ikebana songs.
After Us Comes the Sun by One Up Girl One. He finds her in a meadow behind their house, her knees folded beneath her and a dark clump of earth sitting in her hands as heavily as the shadow stretched out across the grass. An inflorescence, buttercup and wintry jade weaved into the warm hues of an early Hateno spring. From where he stands, he thinks she might be humming something to herself. A minor third up, a perfect fourth down. Something carries her glance up, serenity soon giving way to the quiet joy reserved just for him.
Welcome home, Link.
Her voice glints beneath the sun's idling kiss, her tone every bit as radiant as the gentle brush of solar lips against golden hair, almost as luminous as the golden band around her fourth finger. The sight of his wife never fails to catch his breath, particularly not after all they've weathered. After everything, no superlative frames her in the precise way he'd like to. No fine ink or musical cue can truly capture the way his heart twists and his pulse quickens at the thought of her or all the encompassing grief that floods him when he's torn from her side by daily errands. And Link knows, as he comes upon her with hints of Hyrule stuck beneath her nails and flaxen locks tugged up high above her shoulders, that he doesn't need to find the words. She sits up, a little taller, and our magic strikes him in the same way it always does when she cranes her head up in a soft solution and welcomes the chaste kiss he grants her with gently closed eyes. It's a wonderful life. Link wipes a bit of rogue soil from her cheek.
What are you doing out here?
Zelda hums.
Gardening.
The bright smile at her lips softens, and she closes her eyes and savors the sensation at the summit of her when he places another kiss atop sun-drenched hair.
And since when do you garden?
When she looks up at him, ears pink at the tips and the hint of a thought prising at her lips, Link feels something cry out in his chest.
Will you sit with me?
Link obliges and brings his satchel to rest on the ground as he kneels beside her. Zelda continues her work, velvety eyes carrying the ghost of an ember while she watches her hands.
Thankfully, the soil isn't compacted, and luckily, they aren't too discriminating.
Who isn't?
Them.
Zelda smiles, small and intimate, and even the slightest hint of it is enough to curl him around her finger. She collects the soil in one hand and seeks out one, single seed, reaches into the hole she's carved out and tucks it into the soil. And when she's laid it to rest beneath the dark quilt of restored earth, she reaches for a small watering tin and sends a small shower drizzling around the periphery.
And, with a bit of nurturing,
She glances over at him, cheeks polished pink.
we shall have a sunflower in a few months.
Zelda waits, expectant, and beneath her bright eyes, a swallow wedges its way down her throat, waits for something to snap to life in his own eyes. And suddenly, Link finds himself in a Hateno over 100 years old. He sees his mother, her fingers stained with berries and cream. His father enjoying the fruit of her labor at the kitchen table, teasing about something a little boy would never comprehend. His mother falling silent in a way Link has never seen, her lips curled and her eyes gleaming in the same precise way that Zelda's gleam now. And Link feels that silence, a long stretch of uncertain quiet soon assuaged by the sight of his parents embracing, hugging, kissing, crying out with joy. And on a bright spring afternoon that follows, the frost melted and the ever-resilient sun spilling its light across the valley, they plant a single sunflower for the baby girl who would arrive with the first sight of autumn. One sunflower planted for each soul to be welcomed, a long-standing Hateno tradition. Link doesn't quite notice the way his mouth fumbles until Zelda breaks into a blithe laughter, and soon, thoughts of this and that are crashing atop each other at his lips. His heart lodges thickly in his throat, its beat percussive and battering, tempo growing faster and faster as he turns everything over in his mind.
You're?
Yes, Link. Yes.
Though he'd been there when her divine powers had burst free from their corporeal cell, watched as her birthright had finally made itself known in the wicked sea of machine and flame and despair. And though he'd watch as time and light conducted through him to bring her back from a fate worse than death, still, the look in her eyes is something far more sacred, something that he swears could bring the cosmos to its knees if it could only glance at her sweet smile, the one that glows as she places a hand against her belly. Link leans forward and kisses her, softening when he tastes the hint of their tears mingling in his lips, and when he pulls away and presses his forehead to hers, spoken words evade him still.
We're expecting, Link.
There is little he can do but throw his head back to the heavens and shout, his laughter ringing loud enough to startle the cattle up the road. And below misty eyes, Zelda places her hands across her mouth and giggles into her fingers. And when Link floats back down, he swells against his wife again, kisses her gently and lowers her down to the earth, the meadow around them like a cradle itself.
A child. Our child, Zelda.
She takes his hand in hers and sets them both upon her belly, fingers twining across the promise of life she carries within her. 1 into 2, 2 into 3, and when she smiles up at him, rosy and beaming, he sees a lifetime.
Ours.
Blue Devotion by FlowerPower. Before she sees the sky, the sun, and the flowers around this returned body of hers, she sees his eyes first. Blue braziers, an ocean of lifetimes. One single vow that tolls the same for eternity. He'll always carry her. And he'll always bring her home. They fade into the dark of the living room, within the 4 walls and roof that have housed their bodies for so long. He lights up the candles, and it brings her to tears. He leaves one unlit upon hearing her quiet sobs, rushes to her side, for that's where he belongs, forever.
I can't.
Her breath hitches.
Link, I can't believe I'm here.
His arms wrap around her, her anchor, her face buried in the crook of his neck, where the scent of earth and pond water still lingers.
You've brought me home.
He cups her face, presses his forehead to hers.
Yeah, I did.
The marble of his expression fractures.
Zelda, I did.
When her lips part to let out an exhale, he leans in, kisses her soft and sweet till it grows rough and hungry. He swoops her in his arms once more and lays her in their bed, atop their beloved blue blanket, and makes her feel real for the first time in 30,000 years. Morning rolls in like it always does in this kingdom, the darkness leaving to make way for the sun, for light. But there's nothing that's the same about them. She wakes, her body brand new, her arms open, opening up for him again. The birds chirp outside, the sun rising, heralding her homecoming for the second time. It's noon when they leave the bed. Downstairs, as he hums and cooks, she notices the vase on the dining table. Blue flowers, small, 5-petaled, its center yellow, lie wilted in it. She stares at them, heart full but still aching as they eat breakfast. Only when they finish does she ask.
When was the last time you were here?
She can't see his face. His back is facing her as he washes the dirty dishes, but she knows every inch of him, so she can read the tension in his back like a book.
2 months ago.
And when did you...
She swallows.
When did you find out? About me?
A beat.
2 months ago.
She rises from her chair, approaches him, stands beside him. A teardrop carves its way down his beautiful face.
I came back here to sleep here one last time. To clean. To...
He doesn't need to say more. She knows. To mourn, to grieve. For she did that too, in that eternal second before she swallowed the stone. His gaze is distant, light years away as he finishes washing their dishes. She leans in to press a kiss on his cheek, tasting his tears. A rivulet of his love, his devotion.
It's okay. I'm here. It's over. Come back to me, Link.
He does. He dries his hands with a towel, then turns around to take her in his arms and kiss her and kiss her and kiss her. She feels it, the dregs of that grief in his heart as he leads her to the table, as her backside hits its edge and she lies back on the oak surface. He canopies her body once more. The vase with the blue flowers lies a few inches away from her head. They may be wilted, and it may be the start of autumn, but as he holds her, Zelda blooms like it's spring, for Link is her water, her fountain, the source of life. And it only takes one look in those blue eyes to know that she too is his.
Did you pick those flowers yourself?
She asks, with their heads on the same pillow, their noses touching, the sun finally in hiding.
The ones in the vase downstairs?
He sounds exhausted, the good kind. It makes her heart swell. She nods in response.
Yeah. I just found a bunch of them near the woods when I came back here 2 months ago.
His fingers twine with her short golden locks.
Picked them, then brought them home.
Did you know that those are called forget-me-nots?
His brows arch.
No, I didn't.
She hums.
Mm-hmm. Forget-me-nots represent true love.
At that, she kisses him, just because she can now. She pulls back, her teeth gently pulling at his bottom lip. He gasps, smiles.
They symbolize fidelity and respect.
He chases her, steals a kiss. Sweet retaliation. The hand in her hair moves to lay on the side of her neck.
A testament that one shall never forget the other. That they're always in your mind and heart.
Zelda, I love you.
His voice breaks so crisp.
I've never forgotten you. Not even for a fraction of a second.
Her face crumples with a strange longing.
Me too, Link. I think even as I was gone, that part of me never was, you know?
Her thumb traces the apple of his cheek.
My love for you is intrinsic to who I am. You can strip everything away from me, but that will always remain.
When she sees that he has shed a tear again, she does too. He's never cried this much, but she understands exactly what he feels. This tender bruise, this gaping wound that no longer bleeds but still stings, and the only remedy is to let it out, into the world, into each other. So they do exactly that. They do it again and again and again, uncaring of time, for they transcend it, their love existing in a place mortality cannot comprehend, a place full of heavenly warmth, divine light. They let the wilted forget-me-nots stay in the vase. They'll pick some fresh ones next year, when spring arrives again.
Heliotrope by MustardCheeseDog.
We need to see the sun.
Her voice was kind, understanding, serene. From the day he'd gripped her in the sky and pulled her from the pond, they'd been tender with one another. The pain was often left unspoken.
I'm sorry.
He must have woken her with his shivering again. The gloom was gone, but he had felt it in his sleep, ripping at his skin, hunting through his veins. His heart hammered against her body wrapped around him, her eyes soft on his in the night's glow. Rain pattered against the window.
Try that again?
She whispered, sweeping hair from his face. He huffed.
I'm sorry I woke you.
One more time, love.
She leaned in to kiss his cheek. Sniffing, he swallowed his embarrassment. They'd been working on this.
I was having a nightmare.
A leak in their roof dripped into a bowl. He'd meant to fix it weeks ago when they'd first returned home, but it had proven more difficult than he'd expected to do anything but hold her, beg her not to leave again. She stroked his cheek, damp. When she spoke, his breathing calmed.
Let's spend the day somewhere warm, shall we?
The Sky Islands grounded her. Ironic, not just for how high in the sky they really were, but because they were haunted. Halls she'd walked for months, in ruin centuries later. Still, the ancient, shimmering light within her felt content when they returned. She shaded her eyes to see him, bare as a newborn, skin warm in the balmy sun. His limbs flexed as he climbed the side of a cliff face that towered over the pond he'd been swimming in. When he reached the top, shading his eyes as well, he waved an endearing little wave. She giggled. The gold of the grass and trees reflected in the crystal pool, a gleaming shield from lingering thoughts of gloom and malice. Here, they were free to lose themselves in light. Waving back, she appreciated his beauty. He stretched two sinewy arms over his head, showing off to her in smug silliness, tendons in his armpits stretched around damp mats of blonde. Zelda called across the island, aiming the purapad at him.
Come down from there if you're going to put on a show for me.
From this far, she could only guess at his wicked grin. She watched as he padded back a few steps, eyes on the pool below, then took a sprinting start to jump off the cliff into a swan dive. Just as his body slipped below the water, she snapped a photo. He resurfaced and shook his long hair wildly, sending spray along the shore. She squealed, moving to shield the pad, shading it from the sun to see better.
Was that a good dive?
His woody voice called as he swam to shore, where she lounged on a blanket, dappled in sunlight. She stared at the screen as he dripped over to her to grab his towel from the tree, drying himself. Hair scruffy, he leaned over her. The picture was beautiful. A perfect lens flare from the sun framing the silhouette of his body, bathed in light.
You took a picture?
She nodded and smiled.
I like when you look like this.
He grinned, bending to dry his legs.
Without my shirt?
She almost said no, that wasn't quite what she meant. But as he plopped down beside her on the blanket, lying back to let the sun warm him up, she thought it actually wasn't far off. All burden stripped away, his gentle soul bare for her.
We'll have to wash this blanket.
His eyes were closed. Zelda set the pad down.
We would have had to either way, I believe.
Why is that?
When she didn't respond right away, he squinted one eye open, only to yelp in surprise. She tackled him to feel his bliss against hers. The lazy sun had gone to bed. At her request, he cooked dinner for them, the breeze carrying its warm scent around their spot beneath the stars. With each catch of her eyes, gilded in firelight, he felt a smile carving its way across his face, a natural erosion, a canyon of time's healing. As he added sundialion after sundialion to the pot, she held up one of the leftover flowers from where it had been left on his cutting board, still whole, to her face to smell. Blonde lashes fluttered in memory.
Do you miss them?
Her face did not twist. Her sigh was serene.
I miss everyone. All the time.
He hummed, finishing their fried greens and rice, passing her a bowl. He'd garnished the top with fresh yellow petals, a bowl of sunlight. He started to eat.
What do you mean?
She bit her lip and traced his face with her eyes, glancing lower at his bare chest. Even after the day they'd spent together, he blushed, looking back at his food.
I have spent so much of my life missing people.
She turned her eyes to the stars.
Missing you.
He nodded, brows knitted, mouth full.
The feeling never goes away.
She looked back and smiled at him.
I've long stopped resisting it.
She started to eat with him. He let his heart soften to the idea. He wasn't sure he was ready to relinquish his resistance just yet. Miles below them, the leak in the roof kept dripping. But then the sight of her body was warm against his, and dinner tasted like hope and grief finding a space for one another, so he swallowed and kissed her on the cheek. Zelda grinned at Link in the dark, and the sun shone from between her teeth.